Good morning, students. Today's topic is rights of the children. Children's rights include the right to health, education, family life, play and recreation, and educate standard of living and to be protected from abuse and harm. Children's rights cover their development and age appropriate needs that change over time as a child grows up. And this topic objectives are applies equally to both girls and boys up to the age of 18, even if they are married or already have children of their own. The convention is guided by the principles of best interest of the child and non-discrimination and respect for views of the child. It emphasizes the importance of the family and the need to create an environment that is conducive to the healthy growth and development of children. It obligates the state to respect and ensure that children get a fair and equitable deal in society. And next, the definition of children rights. Definition of the child. Etymologically, the term child comes from the Latin infans, which means the one who does not speak. For the Roman, this term distinguishes the child from its birth up to the age of 7 years. This notation involved a lot through centuries and cultures to family des- designate human being from birth until adulthood, but this conception of the child was wide and the age of the majority varied, varied from a culture to another. The Convention of the Right of the Child of 1989 deter- defines more precisely the term child. A child is any human being below the age of 18 years, unless under the law applicable to the child, majority is attained earlier. The idea through this definition and all this taxes concerning child welfare is that the child is a human being with rights and dignity. And next is what characterizes the child is their youth and vulnerability. Indeed, the child is growing a future adult who has no means to protect themselves. So the child has to be the object of a particular interest and a specific protection. In this perspective text proclaiming the protection of the child and their rights were adopted. And these are the definition of the right of the children. And next is definition of the right of the children, the recognition of the rights of the children. Children's rights are recognized after the First War. After the First World War, with the adop- adoption of the Declaration of Geneva in 1924, the process of recognition of children's rights continued thanks to the UN with the adoption of the Declaration of the Right of the Children 1959. The recognition of the child's interest and their rights because a reality on the 20 November 1989 with the adoption of the International Conversation on the Right of the Child, which is the first international legally binding text recognizing all the fundamental rights of the child. And next is children right, human rights. Children's rights are human right. They protect the child as a human being. As human rights, children's rights are constituted by fundamental guarantee and essential human rights are human rights, the child rights are the and children rights recognize fundamental guarantees to all human beings, the right to life, the non-discrimination principle, the right to dignity through the protection of physical and mental integrity, protection against slavery, torture, and bad treatments, etc. Children's rights are civil and political rights, such as the right to identity, the right to a nationality, etc. Children's rights are economic, social, and cultural rights, such as the right to education, the right to a decent standard of living, the right to health, etc. Children's rights include individual rights, the right to live with his or her parents, the right to education, the right to benefit from protection, etc. Children's rights include collective rights, rights of refugee and disabled children, of minority children, or from autonomous groups. This all are the children's rights are the human's right. And the next children's rights adopted to children. Children's rights are human rights specifically adopted to the child because they take into account their fragility, specificities, and age appropriate needs. Children's rights take into account the necessity of development of the child. The children thus have the right to live and to develop suitably physically and intellectually. Children's right plan to satisfy the essential needs for good development of the child, such as the access to an appropriate elimination, to necessary care, to education, etc. Children's rights consider the valuable character of the child. They imply the necessity to protect them. It means to grant particular assistance to them and to provide protection adapted to their age and to their degree of maturity. So, the children have to be helped and supported and must be protected against labor exploitation, kidnapping, and ill treatment, etc. These are the children rights and rights adopted to children. And next is the meaning of the child and the rights of children. What is the meaning? Declaration of Geneva. Geneva declare humanity has to do its best for the child. And next is recognition of the children's interest and their rights became a reality on the 20 November 1989 with the adoption of the International Convention on the Rights of the Child, which is the first international legally binding text recognizing all the fundamental rights of the child. And next is the what is the fundamental rights are the child. And first fundamental rights are no discrimination. All children have all these rights. No must matter who they are, where they live, what language they speak, what their religion is, what they think, what they look like, if they are a boy or girl, if they have a disability, if they are rich or poor, and no matter who their parents or families are or what their parents or family believe or do. No child should be treated unfairly for any reason. And next right is best interest of the child. What is the best interest of the child? When adults make decision, they should think about how their decisions will affect children. All adults should do what is best for children. Governments should make sure children are protected and looked after by their parents or by other people when this is needed. Governments should make sure that people and place responsible for looking after children are doing a good job. And next is making rights real. Governments must do all they can to make sure that every child in their countries can enjoy all the rights in this convention. And the next right is family guidance as children develop. Governments should let families and communities guide their children so that as they grow up, they learn to use their rights in the best way. The more children grow, the less guidance they will need. And next is the life survival and development. Every child has the right to be alive. Governments must make sure that children survive and develop in the best possible way. And the next, name and nationality. Children must be registered when they are born and given a name which is officially recognized by the government. Children must have a nationality, belong to a country. Whenever possible, children should know their parents and be looked after by them. And this is the name and nationality. Next is identity. Identity is the children have the right to their own identity. An official record, who they are, which includes their name, nationality, and family relation. No one should take this away from them. But if this happens, government must help children to quickly get their identity back. And keeping families together. Children should not be separated from their parents unless they are not being properly looked after. From example, for example, if a parent hurts or does not take care of a child, children whose parents does not live together should stay in contact with both parents unless this might harm the child. And next right is the children contact with parents across countries. If a child lives in a different country than their parents, governments must let the child and parents travel so that they can stay in contact and be together. And next right is protection from kidnapping. Government must stop children being taken out of the country when this is against the law. For example, being kidnapped by someone or held abroad by a parent when the other parent does not agree. And next, right, respect for children's views. This is the important right of the children. Children have the right to give their opinions freely on issues that affect them. Adults should listen and take children seriously. And next is sharing thoughts freely. Children have the right to share freely with others what they learn, think, and feel by talking, drawing, writing, or in any other way, unless it harms other people. This is the children's way of living. Many children are having in sharing thoughts freely so that the other that they learn, they feeling freely, and the talking, drawing, writing, they all activities are taught freely. And this is the sharing about. And next, sharing thought freely. And the next is freedom of thought and religion. Children can choose their own thoughts, opinions, and religion, but this should not stop other people from enjoying their rights. Parents can guide children so that as they grow up, they learn to properly use this right. And the next right is setting up or joining groups. Children can join or set up groups or organizations, and they can meet with others as long as this does not harm other people. And next right of the children is protection of privacy. In this period, the children are very much think like that. The protection of privacy. Every child has the right to privacy. The law must protect children's privacy, family, home, communications, and reputation or good name from any attack. And next right is access to information. Children have the right to get information from the interest, internet, radio, television, newspapers, books, and other sources. Adults should make sure the information they are getting is not harmful. Government should encourage the media to share information and from lots of different sources in languages that all children can understand. And next right is responsibility of parents. What is the responsibility of parents? Parents are the main people responsible for bringing up a child. When the child does not have any parents, another adult will have this responsibility, and they are called a guardian. Parents and guardians should always consider what is the best for that child. Governments should help them where a child has both parents. Both of them should be responsible from bringing up the child. And next right, these are all are the rights of children. Next the right of children is protection from violence. Governments must protect children from violence, abuse, and being neglected by anyone who looks after them. And next, children without families. Every child who cannot be looked after by their own family has the right to be looked after properly by people who respect the child's religion, culture, language, and other aspects of their life. And next is the children who are adopted. Some childs are adopted childs. When children are adopted, the most important thing is to do what is the best for them. If a child cannot be properly looked after in their own country, for example, by living with another family, then they might be adopted in other country. Next point is refugee children. Refugee means the children are other countries come come from other countries. These are the refugees children, children who move from their home country to another country as refugees because it was not safe from them to stay there. Should get help and protection and have the same rights as children born in that country. And next is children with disability. Every child with the disability should enjoy the best possible life in society. Governments should remove all obstacles from children with disabilities to become independent and to participate actively in the community. Next is health, water, food, environment. These are the important for every people. So the right of children is all about that. Children have the right the best health care possible and safe environment to live in. All adults and children should have information about how to stay safe and healthy. And next is the review of a child's placement. Every child who has been placed somewhere away from home for their care, action, or health should have their situation checked regularly to see if everything is going well and if this is still the best place. And next is social and economic help. Governments should provide money or other support to help children from poor families of social help and economic help. Then government should provide money or other support to help children from poor family also. And next food, clothing, a safe home. Children have the right to food, clothing, and a safe place to live. So they can develop in the best possible way. The government should help families and children who cannot afford this. Many children are very poor families, so the help and right of the children to help the food, clothing, and a safe home families which are poor and children who cannot afford this. And next is access to education. Every child has the right to an education, primary education should be free, secondary and higher secondary education should be available to every child. Children should be encouraged to go to school to the highest level possible. Rights and never use violence. And the next rights of the children is aim of education. Children's education should help them fully develop their personality, talents, and abilities. It should teach them to understand their own rights and to respect other people's. It should help them to live peacefully and protect the environment. Minority culture, language, and religion. This is also the right of the children. Children have the right to use their own language, culture, and religion, even if these are not shared by most people in the country where they live. And the next is rest, play, culture, arts. Every child has the right to rest, relax, play, and to take part in cultural and creative activities. Some childs are very active and participates cultural program and creative activities. So this is the right of the children. And next right is protection from harmful work. Children have the right to be protected from doing work that is dangerous or bad for their education, health, and development. If children work, they have the right to be safe and paid fairly. And next is the protection from harmful drugs. Government must protect children from taking, making, carrying, or selling harmful drugs. The next is protection from sexual abuse. The government should protect children from sexual exploitation, being taken advantage of, and sexual abuse, including by people forcing children to have sex for money or making sexual pictures or films of them. These are the protection of sexual abuse. And next rights are prevention of sale and trafficking. Government must make sure that children are not kidnapped or sold or taken to other countries or places to be exploited, taken advantage of. And next, protection from exploitation. Children have the right to be protected from all other kinds of exploitation, being taken advantage of, even if these are not specifically mentioned in this conven- convention. And next is right of detention. Right of detention is children who are accused by breaking the law should not be killed, tortured, treated cruelly, put in prison forever, or put in prison with adults. Prison should always be the last choice and only for the shortest possible time. Children in prison should have legal help and be able to stay in contact with their family. Protection in war. Children have the right to be protected during war. No children under 15 can join the army or take part in war. And next is recovery and reintegration. Children have the right to get help if they have been hurt, neglected, treated badly, or affected by war, so they can get back their health or dignity. Children who break the law, children accused by breaking the law, have the right to legal help and fair treatment. There should be lots of solutions to help these children become good members of their communities. Prison should only be the last choice. And the next is best law of children applies. If the laws of a country protect children's right better than this conversation, convention, then those laws should be used. And the next is everyone must know children's right. Government should government should the actively children and adults about this convention so that everyone knows about the children's right. And next is 43 to 54 numbers of rights is in that how the convention works. These articles explain how governments, the United Nations, including the Committee on the Rights of the Children, Child and UNICEF, and other organizations work to make sure all children enjoy all their rights. These are the rights of every child. Government should actively tell children and adults about the rights. Everyone knows about the children's rights. At the end of this topic, some references is there. These are the references of this topic. And the next is MCQs, multiple choice questions. First question is which of the following is correct with respect to right against exploitation? First is prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. Freedom as to payment of taxes for the promotion of any particular religion, protection of interests of minorities equally before the law. What is the right answer? The right answer of this question is prohibition of traffic in human beings or and forced labor. And next question is which one of the following fundamental rights has been the subject of maximum litigation and controversy? Right to property, right to equality, right to freedom of religion, right to freedom. The right answer is right to property. And next questions is right to cultural and educational right implies provision of free and compulsory education up to high school, special assistance to backward classes to educate them, provision of religious and cultural instructions in schools run by the government or receive of minorities to establish and administrator educational institutions of their choice. Answer is right of minority of establish and administrator educational institutions of their choice. This is the right answer of this question. Next question, what is the sanction behind the fundamental rights? granted by the Indian Constitution. Public opinion, parliament, independent judiciary, and the Constitution. The right answer of this question is the Constitution. And next question, the main purpose for the grant of fundamental rights to the Indian citizen is establishment of democratic government, protection of individual liberty, to ensure independence of judiciary, to establish socialistic society. The answer of this question is protection of individual liberty. And the next question, which one of the following rights is vital for the successful working of democracy? Right to property, right to association, right to assemble, right to criticize. The right answer of this question is right to criticize. This is the answer of this question. And next question is according to the Indian law, what is the minimum age of the person for employment in a factory? 18 years, 21 years, 14 years, 16 years. What is the answer? Answer is the 14-year age. And next question, in order to describe the age group of a person, several phrases, namely minor, major, child, adolescent, adult, are used. A person of age 15 year can be described as minor or adolescent, child or minor, minor, child or adolescent. The 15-year age described as the child or adolescent is the right answer. And the next question, for a specific job, the minimum wages are dependent on the gender of the employee, dependent on the work nature, on the gender both, independent of the gender if the work is same, and 10% higher of males as compared to females. The answer of this question is independent of the gender if the work is same. And next and last question is, according to Indian law, what is the minimum age of marriage? 16 year for women and 19 year for men, 18 for women and 21 for man, 21 for man and women both, and 18 for man and women both. The right answer, what is the right answer? Right answer is 18 for women and 21 for men. And the end of this topic, all about of this topic is there. And the end of this topic, thank you.